Wave, Hanna.
Hello.
Hello, today we'll be talking about sustainability in the Anthropocene at the University of Connecticut. The sustainability programs here are not just environmentally good deeds, but targeted responses to anthropogenic event effects on the Earth system. Specifically, we'll be talking about those related to the biota of the environment, like urbanization, concerning infrastructure, and the combustion, like the increase in atmospheric CO2 and global temperature rise. Now we'll be heading over to the UConn's Office of Sustainability to talk about some sustainability initiatives that UConn has. Here we'll be talking with an intern at the Office of Sustainability, Emma Duttil, who is an environmental studies and political science major here on the UConn campus.
And then we're gonna pan.
Hi, this is Isabella.
I'm Hanna.
I'm Emma.
So we're just going to talk a little bit about sustainability on the UConn campus today. And so our first question is, where can sustainability be seen on the UConn campus?
UConn has a lot of sustainability initiatives, the ones that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. LID infrastructure, which is low impact development. So if you're walking past in Beehurst Hall now, there are the bricks that they use absorb stormwater, so when it rains it helps reduce flooding. And there's a bunch of other stormwater infrastructure on campus, including rain gardens and water capture basins.
One important anthropogenic infrastructure change would be the various locations around the UConn campus where UConn has installed pervious and porous pavements in order to handle runoff better. This allows the water to fall down and sink through into the earth. Another low-impact infrastructure is the UConn rooftop gardens. Previous research shows that about 54% of rainfall is taken out of the stormwater system and put back into the atmosphere due to the rooftop gardens. And the bioretention basin that we saw earlier before takes runoff from the roof and it pipes it directly into the basin, which is great for stormwater practice.
UConn also has sustainability initiatives in their dining halls. We compost a lot of the food. It gets put back into the dish section. On top of, we source a lot of our food from Spring Valley Student Farm, which is the student farm on campus.
What got you interested in sustainability at UConn?
I'd say during COVID, I kind of sparked an interest in the environment, just spending a lot more time outdoors. We all had a bunch of time on our hands. I felt like I used that to I started a vegetable garden, started to go on more runs and stuff outside, and that's kind of where my interest in the environment kind of started. I would say just having that time to kind of connect to nature, having time to research the environment during COVID, watch a lot of YouTube videos and stuff, and so just learning ways that I could get involved at UConn and make an impact was a priority as a freshman. So I joined the Eco House learning community and then just kind of got connected to other environmental spaces on campus through that.
Do you know what it means for UConn to be #1 in the Sierra Club?
I do know that being recognized by the Sierra company is a big achievement in just recognizing UConn's commitment to sustainability through academics, dining, facilitating outdoor spaces, all of those things.
Do you have any projects you've done with sustainability that you're really proud of?
So one thing that I did last semester with the Office of Sustainability was I produced an ArcGIS story map, which is basically an interactive article with mapping and videos, highlighting all that UConn's doing in terms of sustainability. So if you go on the Office of Sustainability website, you can access that resource to kind of just overview what is UConn doing. I mapped EV chargers on campus, all the buildings that are LEED certified, which is an environmental certification that you can get if you build a building and meet certain sustainability targets. That's probably one of the biggest projects I've worked on that I'm pretty proud of.
How can we get ourselves more involved rather than just offering us food?
Yeah, no, for sure. So that's one of our biggest events is the Earth Day Spring Fling, and it's kind of like to try to like you said, like people are like, ooh, there's free veggie burgers. Like, what's this? Kind of like generate like that interest and like hopefully like people ask questions and want to get involved.
Take the Yukon transportation buses, for example. While they still reduce individual needs for cars, look at all the fuel they're burning. And all the cars from the faculty and students at the parking lots, they contribute to carbon dioxide every single day. But that also means that buildings need heating, cooling, electricity, and that means fossil fuels, which means more emission. And don't forget about food. Our dining hall serves thousands of meals every day from a supply chain, from trucks to airplanes to intensive energy agriculture.
But it's not all bad news. Yukon has made real efforts towards sustainability, like solar panel installations, a bike share program, and even a composting initiative. The university's climate action plan aims for carbon neutrality by 2030.
Connecticut's reservoirs, like those supplying Yukon, rely on forested watersheds and healthy soils for natural filtration. But what happens when our changing climate stresses or replaces that vegetation? Even Earth's natural carbon sink, rock weathering, is affected. As continents shift and mountains rise, weathering increases, drawing down carbon dioxide. But human activity now emits far more CO2 than these slow processes can absorb. Historically, most people have lived in regions with mean annual temperatures between 11 and 15 degrees Celsius, the same comfortable range Yukon stores falls into. But as global temperatures rise, more regions fall outside the human climate niche. Predicting the future of climate is shaped by culture, politics, and technology. At stores, we make decisions, from energy use to land care, in hopes of giving us a better shot to protect the systems that sustain us.